Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. So today it is a rainy day in Wisconsin and I just want to stay home and work on art, but I'm also kind of feeling overwhelmed with the amount of ideas and projects that I have going on. So I thought that maybe I should start a new Art With Me series here on the channel because something that is always off to the side that you guys never see here on my art desk is an entire basket of art projects that I need to work on. So I used to wake up in the morning, plan my day, have my coffee or tea, and then I would come to the art studio and for at least 20 minutes, I would work on whatever art that I had in here just so that I felt like I was being creative every day. But when I stopped working or when I was between contracts, what I found was when I would sit down for those 20 minutes, because I didn't have to be to work or anything, that 20 minutes would turn into all day and I wouldn't get anything done. And I started to feel very behind and anxious about not getting my to-do list done. So I've kind of fell off the wagon of working on these projects. So I thought that it might be a good idea every couple of weeks if I just sat down and worked on these projects with you guys. This way you could kind of see my process a little bit, how I paint and come up with ideas, stuff like that. It's kind of more of a informal art with me, if you will, because I have so many things in here that I really love and I would love to finish. I actually was working on this guy this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, stop, turn on the camera. So I even have like little vignette box that I was doing like little Frida Kahlo art. I know I've shown this one before on the channel as this collage adventures book. I haven't touched this thing in weeks and I have so many cute little ideas that I feel like I really need to give some time to, but I feel like my brain is always coming up with new ideas, so then it becomes very hard to ever finish a project, which I don't like that. I want to finish my art. I love my art, and I think there's always this little sense of, envy of other artists. I think we all probably can relate to that as we look at other people's art on social media. And I think actively working in your art process on a daily basis and actually loving what you create can kind of help fill that feeling of inadequacy. Because when I do sit here and I do look at my art, I absolutely love it. It's just when I sit on the couch and I go down this rabbit hole of looking at other people's art that I start to feel like, oh, mine doesn't look like that. I wish mine looked like that. And I don't think that's good. If you can relate to that, I think that we both need to sit down, take a step back, and just take the inspiration from other artists and be grateful for the inspiration and not approach it in a judging manner. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just slowly start working on all of these projects. I have other stuff in here. I even bought some shrink film. I don't know if you guys have ever done like the Shrinky Dinks or the shrink film as kids. I did this as a kid and I really wanted to try this with colored pencils. I got one that's called Super Sanded that you're supposed to be able to use colored pencils. Back in the day, as a kid, we would use Sharpies, but I want to see what it kind of looks like with colored pencil. I think the reason I bought this one was because you can use it for colored pencils. I don't know. I remember reading somewhere that you can use colored pencils on this one because I was going between a couple different kinds at the store. And yeah, maybe I looked it up online. I'm not sure, but they said this one you can use with colored pencils, so I thought that would be really fun. Look, I just start so many little art journals and they just get abandoned. And you know, I get it. I get lots of ideas and just my mind is always exploding, but I just wish that I could just snap my fingers and like, bam, it's done and the finished product is there. But I'm a slow painter, so it kind of takes a long time to ever finish anything. And you guys know that I'm working on that Spirit Guide series with all those 50 thumbnails. I feel like that is probably detrimental to this little art bin here because I'm already really liking a lot of them. I did decide that I am going to do this square size. This is a 9 by 9, I think. Yes, 9 by 9. I did decide that I am going to do those just like this as far as size. And on this paper, this is the Fabriano hot press paper. Do I have it right next to me? It is this paper, Fabriano hot press, 140 pound, 300 GSM. I absolutely love this paper. I got this pack, I'm like half done. I got this pack for Christmas a few years ago from Andy, and I'm still slowly working my way through it, but I absolutely love this paper for acrylic painting. So I do know the paper I'm going to use. I know the size I'm going to use. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to start with a painted background or if I'm going to start with a white background. I'm still not sure. And I also have all of those wood paintings that I'm starting. So yes, and the cardboard cutout paintings. So many paintings, you guys. So that's why I thought this would be a good little project for us to do together. You guys get to see kind of a little glimpse into how I paint things, how I get my ideas onto different surfaces, my color choices, how I kind of design all of my elements, that kind of a thing. So I have been chatting for a hot minute now, so let's get into a little bit of art today together. Also, wait, before I go, we need to think of a cute name for this series. I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, desk bin painting series. I don't know. We need to come up with something way cuter. If you have ideas, let me know. As we begin this new Art With Me series, I am unsure how I'm going to approach the speaking portion. I'm not sure if I'm going to just talk with you guys while I'm painting or if I should voice over my paintings. I also am not sure if I should just grab things on the fly and kind of just paint with you guys that way, or if I should just pick out a few pieces that, yes, I know I want to work on that day. I'm not sure. So this first video is going to be very experimental on how we're going to approach things because I don't want the videos to get too long. So possibly speeding them up a little bit and adding a voiceover might be helpful. Also, while I'm trying to concentrate and paint, it might be a tad difficult to actually paint. I am just going to be using this folk art matte paint. I really need to get to the store and get a new white Posca. I might go do that today because for my elements on my paintings, a lot of times if I have a Posca pen that matches the color, I will outline it or even just use a Posca pen. That will save me time because let's be real, using a Posca pen is a lot quicker than actually using paint and brush. I also find that on some colors, the Posca pen is a lot more opaque than like a cheaper craft paint, but I will be honest with you, I've used expensive you know, professional acrylic paint and I've used cheap craft paint for white. And the opacity, I can't find something that is just, oh my gosh, juicy, thick, opaque color. I don't really like using heavy body paint. I feel like a lot of heavy body paint has like a gloss to it, and I don't really like that. I'm more of a matte girl. So I will probably be stopping and getting a new white Posca at some point today. I did just get a really big black one. Where are you? I don't know where it's at, but I got a black in the 1.8 to 2.5 millimeter nib, and I was using that for my cardboard cutouts for the art room, and I really like it. I only have really fine tip ones for the white, so I think I'm going to experiment with those larger nibs for my white. And I don't think that this Folk Art matte paint, I don't think the opacity is really that bad. I think it's actually probably better than a lot of my expensive paints. So that's nice. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen this painting on there quite some time ago, but in different colors. So this is the cousin to that one. I did that one in more cool colors. Well, the background started as cool colors. So I kind of wanted to explore what it would be like to do the same painting, but starting with a cool color base and a warm color base. And the cool color base has a new home with one of my friends. I actually designed and painted this painting with my friend in mind, and I absolutely loved the design so much, and I was like, oh yes, I have to paint one for myself. So that's when the idea of the cousin paintings, one cool, one warm, came about. My friend is a guy. This is actually my friend here as a wonky, and I figured, you know, like blues and cool colors, he would probably like that a lot better. So that's why I chose to give him the cool colored one, as where, you know, this has a lot of pinks and whatnot in the background as a basis. So I was like, oh, that would be perfect for me because I do love me some opera pink. And funny is, I was actually just helping my friend move yesterday, and he had brought in a box into the house, and the painting that I made for him was right there on top, and I was like, oh, I was so excited. It's just so exciting to revisit your art that you absolutely love. So here I'm just using a yellow Posca marker. I got these in a pastel pack, so it says P yellow. Everything else is in like Japanese, so it's hard for me to know anything else. I could probably open the Google Translate app and hold it over and hope for the best, but this is the 0.7 millimeter, and I don't know, just using the Posca pens for some of your elements, for me anyways. If there's a color that I like, I don't mind using it as either a base layer or to start my outline. I just find it very beneficial. The only thing I don't like about the Posca is if you press too hard, it kind of like skips and it will like spray paint off. So be mindful of that. But I mean, if that's the effect you're looking for, that's great. I wasn't sure what color to do these exclamation marks, so I was playing around on the iPad this morning to try to figure out what color that is another thing that I do, is I use the iPad a lot to figure out my colors. I will show you that in a second here. If you don't have an iPad, something that you could do would be to use tracing paper over the top, and you could use like a color pencil or a marker or something and kind of go like that. Another thing that I've done in the past, this was before I had an iPad. I actually still do this sometimes, especially with the Posca markers. I save all of the plastic from, say, like sticker packs and stuff like that. Here I have my whole little folder full of plastic down here. So I save the plastic from packaging. So if I want to test out, say, where I'm going to put some eyes, or if I'm going to put some little dots, I will just take a piece of the plastic and I will lay it over my painting. And like, say, this little garbage can here, I wanted to put like a little creepy guy in there or something. I would be like, ooh, I don't know. I don't want to like mess up my painting. Do I really want that there? And I would just, you know, take a Posca marker, and I probably should have shook this up, but whatever. Then I would just kind of test out, like, oh, do I like that little creepy guy there in the garbage can? Or maybe I want to like, oh, which side do I want to put him on? Kind of play around with placement. So I always keep the plastic from stickers, other craft things, anything that has like clear plastic like this. If you don't have clear plastic like this from packages, another thing that you can use is these little like report protectors from school. You can use these also, which is nice because you get two pieces, so you can open it up and like rip it apart. I don't want to rip this one apart, but then you have two pieces that you can use. This also has a rougher finish than a lot of the like sticker packaging, so your Posca markers will probably work better on this. So that's something that I do. I did want to show you guys on the iPad how I plan. Hopefully the glare will not be too bad. Well, it's not too bad. Okay. So we will go to Procreate. Let's see. Here we go. So here's the one that you would have seen on my Instagram with the cool colored background. This is the one that my friend has. And here I have started planning this one and what this is going to look like. Like this morning, I wasn't sure on the color of the exclamation marks, so I kind of went in and I started playing with that. So I have all of these different colors that I played with, and I would just go like that. Like, do I want it pink? I was like, that's way too much pink. And that's what I would do. I would just go in and play with colors to see what I like. Another thing I changed this morning was this octopus arm. Originally, I was like, yes, dead set on doing orange, and I haven't worked on this in literally months. Like maybe even close to a year I haven't worked on this, and I haven't looked at my little rough color here either. And I had it orange, and I was like, ooh, I don't like that orange, so I changed it to pink this morning, and I really like the pink a lot better. Another thing that I like to do is I will make it smaller and like gallery size, zoom it out and see it as a whole, and kind of see, okay, yes, I need some more warm colors over here, I need more cool colors over here, kind of a thing. I feel like this one for me right now is a little tricky because the background is going to be purple, which I love, but purple is one of those weird colors where it's kind of a warm color but also kind of a cool color. So I don't know, it's been kind of hard to balance. I don't know. But this is just, if you have an iPad, this is something, and you have Procreate, this is something that really helps me pick colors for my paintings. Here is another one that I've used to pick colors. Even this girl right here. This is how I decided on which colors to use. And all I do is I will sketch my design on my substrate, take a picture of it with the iPad, and then add new layers and just start coloring over it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does help me. So if you have an iPad, like I said, hopefully that would help you. I do really want to finish this girl. All I have left is the hair. I was trying a new technique with this one where I would use a base color, a darker shade of that base color, and white for everything to kind of give it more depth, and that was very fun to do. I think another reason that I want to, I don't know, just start doing more paintings with you guys is because I start working on a painting and I'm gonna be honest, I get bored. I get very bored, so then I like to jump from painting to painting, which probably does not help my full art bin situation over here. But I mean, what are you gonna do? So another thing I like to do is I'll use the Posca marker as a base coat, especially if you have less expensive paints that aren't as opaque, if that's the look you're going for. The Posca marker can definitely give you a good base layer to help build up that opacity. And when I went shopping for my Posca markers, I definitely went for colors that I like to use in my artwork, because then they were easily matched to colors that I use on a regular basis. Feeling a little shaky today. So it's kind of hard for me to do these little fine edges, which has been a struggle for me lately. Since being diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, it has definitely opened my eyes to my style was very fine detailed, very crisp edges, and when I started developing more shaky hands with my hyperthyroidism, I had a few frustrating days there, but I am just trying to do my best. I remember the worst day. I was working in my collage adventure book and I was having to fussy cut pieces out. I was determined to get them cut out, but it took a god-awful amount of time to cut them out. It probably took me close to an hour, and my hands hurt so bad by the time I was done. Yeah, thankfully I'm on medication now. That has helped tremendously. Night and day difference helped. But I do still have days where, you know, I'm a little more shaky than usual. I think something else that is contributing to my shaky hands today is that I trimmed all of our bushes out front yesterday. And every time I trim the bushes, I don't know, just something about using the trimmer and the vibration and the weight of it, it literally makes it so I cannot use my hands for fine motor things all day. The rest of the day is just shot. I don't know why. Then I start thinking about those construction guys who use like those jackhammers on the roads, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what their arms and hands feel like at the end of the day. Like, oh, that's got to be awful. So crazy kudos to people who use the jackhammer on the roads. I can't imagine. All right, so I am going to just finish up a little bit more painting here. I am going to set us to some music here, and I hope you guys really like the start of this series. If you have any suggestions of how we can improve it or how to possibly structure the videos better. I would love to hear your feedback. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.